and welcome to McLaren Dallas, where we just got in the brand new McLaren 750s, a car straight from our hearts to yours. It rides off the legendary benchmark-setting success of the 720, a car that really changed the game in terms of design, performance, and comfort, and in general showed us what a supercar can be. Now I know, you're probably asking yourself, why does this car feel so familiar? And I'm here to tell you that in some ways, that's exactly the point. You see, as McLaren enters a new era as a brand, the 750s is here to celebrate and cherish all that we know and love about this platform. The goal was not reinventing the wheel, but taking our racing mindset and approach and focusing 100% on the final 1%. And we did that in 4 key areas: performance, engagement, comfort, and technology. So now, where should we start? Performance? I think that sounds about right. All right, back in the McLaren. It always feels so good to be home. So performance, let's talk about it. In classic McLaren fashion, all the pen and paper numbers are there, both big and small, and the big numbers are big. 740 horsepower combined with a stout 590 pounds-feet of torque. Now, we were able to achieve these new numbers by essentially taking this engine behind me and sending it back to school to our in-house performance division, LT. And I'm happy to report that this car passed with flying colors. Its newfound degree earned it a slew of updates: bespoke tuning, increased boost pressure, a new triple-layer head gasket, and twin-pump fuel system, just to name a few. All that newfound muscle goes directly to the rear wheels, as a proper sports car should, but through a new 15% shortened final drive. It adds up to a car that is now from 0 to 124 over half a second quicker than the 720s it replaces, making it just 0.2 seconds off from a 765 LT. These are rapid numbers we're putting down here, people. And the best part about it all is that you don't have to be foot to the floor to feel this newfound power. The car is that much more alive and energetic in every gear and all throughout the powertrain. And in fact, in-gear acceleration has been increased by 10%. When you're using your right foot, you'll notice my favorite change on this car, the new central edge of the exhaust. It makes all the right noises, and in general, this whole car is just filled with so much theater to it. All of it's there: the pops, the bangs, the burbles, the swooshes from the turbo. And when you combine that with that nice high-pitched howl of the flat plane crank, and just how the car revs so beautifully and so thrustfully all the way up to a screaming 8,500 RPM red line. It's just a car that edges you on to push a little bit harder. It just keeps every drive that much more interesting. And now, while we're here talking about the drive, we should probably talk about the new cockpit. This fighter jet inspired HOTAS, hands-on throttle and stick, new driver's pinnacle. It puts all the main controls you need of the car right at your fingertips. Your handling mode, your powertrain, your traction control off, and your manual. Gone are the days of looking down filling with a switch. It's not buried in a menu. It's right there. The car just feels that much more ready for action. Yeah, don't think that gets old. So, we talked about the big numbers, but what about the small ones? Did you know that you can option this car with titanium lug nuts? Do you want to take a guess at just how much weight that saves? 0.8 of an ounce. Yeah, that's it. It's about the same weight of a slice of bread. And it's a similar story for the center stack screen that saves just over or under another half a pound. The new rear larger carbon fiber wing takes another 3.5 pounds out. We've got lighter wheels, lighter seats, lighter springs in all corner, and the exhaust shaves off another 4.8. I bring this up for 2 key reasons. One, because lightweight is one of the pillars and foundations of our DNA at McLaren. Not many other brands stress it as hard as we do. But also, it comes back to that mindset, that methodology that we took on this car about focusing 100% on the final 1%. It's all these little things that, when added up, are worth so much more than the sum of their whole. On the subject of lightweight, the foundation of this car is still a carbon fiber tub. It's that technology we pioneered in Formula One, and that's a big part of the reason why we're able to get this car down to a super featherweight 2,815 pounds, making it not only the lightest series production car we've ever done, but also the lightest in its class, in some cases upwards to 400 pounds. And in case you're wondering, that's about the difference of driving with a full-grown silverback gorilla in your passenger seat. I don't think you'd like that now, would you? Let's talk about engagement, because I think that's actually the biggest story of this car. And honestly, you could even argue that the performance we've added to this car is almost just a byproduct of the engagement we were seeking, adding new character and charisma to this machine. So we did that through a few ways. For one, we have new steering components and tuning to this car, yet have kept it a hydraulic rack, which means the feedback is all there. The communication is all there. It's a two-way street. You talk to the car and the car talks to you. Like previous McLarens, the steering melts in your hands, so telepathic, and its actions direct, nice weight. It's all very good. On top of that, in the engagement sector, we really told the engineers to have a little fun, let the hair down, and just do things for the sake of a giggle. So we have a new burnout feature on this car. We have rev limiter downshift that under heavy braking will pin the RPMs at redline, which just makes a cool sound. And on top of that, if this car wasn't already enough crazy town for you, right time, right place, it'll just shoot a wicked flame out the back. Now, I love burnouts and flames as much as the next guy, but if there's one thing we need to talk about on this car, it's the comfort, because that's quite easily one of the biggest differentiators between not only other supercars, but this car and cars in general. We're up to proactive chassis control generation 3 on this car. That's that hydraulically linked suspension that we pioneered in this space. It does a great job of being able to be both firm and stiff when you want it to be, or soft and supple when you like. It's a car that you can really just zen out in. When you're at traffic, it's calm and quiet. When you're sitting on the road, there's not a bunch of jitter. Pop the powertrain back into comfort mode, and you'll realize the shifts are buttery smooth. Get it with the optional comfort seats, and they're heated. Get it with the optional mega sound system, and it'll rock your ears off. And more importantly, you can plug and play with Apple CarPlay. Lastly, it's a car that you can drive peace of mind because it comes with a 3-year free service plan. It's a car that's more than happy to just be a car. So overall, what is the McLaren 750s? It's a hug and a handshake from a friend you haven't seen in a while. When you ask them how are things, they respond with a reassuring, things are great. They're looking better than ever, they're recently married and have acquired a new home, but haven't lost the charm and charisma that always made them so special. We talked about how the 720S was a benchmark-setting car in its time, and we feel with all the inspiration, whether it's the LT-inspired powertrain, the newfound engagement that hasn't taken away from the comfort, and the fact that it's able to offer a pure analog driving experience, that with the 750S, we can truly say benchmark beaten. If you're curious, contact the team at McLaren Dallas to learn more.